Hi book friends! Today's episode of Biblio Happy Hour is brought to you by Biblio Finder, a new online directory for independent bookstores. Biblio Finder allows users to find bookstores worldwide based on your current or planned location. Hi book friends! Welcome to Biblio Happy Hour, a podcast that's sharing bookseller stories, what's new in books, and everything bookish. I'm your host, Victoria Wood. In today's show, we'll be talking to Shoshana Smith, and she is from Flashlight Books located in Walnut Creek, California. Before I get started with today's show, I just wanted you to know that you can tune in to our Biblio news segment every Monday right here on Biblio Happy Hour. We'll be sharing new releases for the week, other titles to look out for in future, bookstore events, and what's trending. Looking for more bookish content? You can listen to our off-the-cuff discussions, get top-shelf monthly recommendations, behind-the-scenes content, perks, and more over on our Patreon page. Patreon allows listeners like you to support a show you love, plus it helps us to grow and embark on new and amazing projects for both the book and bookstore community. It's super easy, so just check out the details and the different levels you can support us over at patreon.com/bibliofinder. And wherever you're listening to this podcast, please don't forget to share, subscribe to the show, and leave us a rating and review. Alrighty everyone, let's talk with our guest. Shoshana, thank you so much for coming on the show and welcome to Biblio Happy Hour.
Thank you. Thanks so much for arranging this and making this happen.
We're so really happy to have you here. So really quick, before we get started with the show, are you a coffee or a tea person?
Neither. Juice.
Juice? Okay, what's your go-to juice? What do you love?
Cider, apple cider, or orange juice.
Okay, so juice it is today. All right, so tell us about your bookstore, tell us about Flashlight Books, where you're located in your town, and just share a bit about, what's good to do in and around your town.
Yeah, absolutely. So Flashlight Books, we are primarily a kids store. We're probably 80% kids, 20% grown-up. We get a lot of demand for grown-ups, so that's shifting. We're still feeling out what people want, but our real passion is getting kids reading, getting kids to continue to love reading as they get older and their lives get busier. Along those lines, we try and bring in authors. We have story time 3 times a week. We're hosting a lot of local authors in particular and trying to let them really showcase their work. We're really grateful to our local authors because they're some of the first people to approach us. They want their stuff showcased. Maybe they're self-published or from a small press, and they help spread the word about our store, and we're happy to have them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us about your town, Walnut Creek. Tell us what's good to do in town, where exactly in the town your bookstore is situated, and just share any old good stuff that you think our listeners would love to know.
Yeah, so I'm actually not a Walnut Creek native, and
right.
Part of the reason we decided to have the store in Walnut Creek is we were looking for an active, interesting town that didn't already have a bookstore. That was Walnut Creek. They're this wonderful community in the East Bay, so 20 minutes east of Oakland, and they have a really active community. There's always festivals and things being put on. The downtown is sort of in 2 parts. We're on North Main Street, which is pretty ideal. And we're in the part of town that's a lot of independent shops and restaurants. We're really lucky to be right down the street from La Scala, which has great coffee. There's a place called Lottie's Creamery that does really cool ice cream, sort of different flavors roasted strawberry and lemon mousse and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, that's great. That's really interesting. And yeah, ice cream is always a good idea in my opinion. So I noticed you mentioned earlier that you had a pop-up in December 08, but you opened the store at your current location earlier this year, February 2019. Did you always know that you wanted to open a bookstore, you and your partners, or is this just, an opportunity that presented itself and you're like, okay, we're going to jump on board?
No, this was definitely a long time dream. I started working in a children's bookstore on the other side of the bay in 2011, and one of my business partners, Marion, also worked there. We're friends from college, and we were working there, and we were like, this is what we want to do forever. So ever since basically 2011, we've sort of been gestating this idea of a bookstore, and when our third partner came on board about 2 years ago, that's when it really started to pick up and happen.
Would you say that there were, things you learned about the business from having worked in a bookstore before?
Absolutely. I would say to anyone who is thinking of opening a bookstore, go work in a bookstore for at least 6 months.
Right.
There's a lot of myths about what working in a bookstore is, and they pretty much all get dispelled. It's an amazing experience. I ended up in management and buying pretty quickly, so we would have fallen on our butts so hard if we didn't have that experience.
Alrighty, so we're going to switch things up on a podcast a bit, and I'm going to jump into our quick fire questions section, which I swear it's not, crazy. It's just us giving you 2 options, and you just select the one that works best for you. So it's all based on your personal preferences, all right?
Sure.
All right, so we're starting with books. Are you more of a fiction or non-fiction reader?
Fiction.
Okay. Do you prefer short stories or poetry?
Short stories.
Okay. Would you say you're more of a morning reader or a night owl?
Probably morning, but kind of all day.
Okay, that works. Hey guys, listen to the full podcast episode over on our Patreon page. So Patreon allows listeners like you to support the show as well as our online directory for independent bookstores. You'll also get additional perks for joining, such as discount codes for some awesome products and services. You'll be able to share your input and submit questions for the show, get behind the scenes content, weekly business updates, shout outs, plus lots more. That's patreon.com/bibliofinder. I'm really looking forward to talking with you